going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship. Today, at the request of Lord of Death Gaming, we're breaking out a little bit of the third party, digging into that Necromancer Games, breaking out the Tome of Horrors to cover Lucifer. And of course, we'll do a little homebrew as well for his obediences and boons and things. And if you have any requests at all, as always, throw them in the comments. You don't have to, sell your soul or anything. Just write it on the dotted line and we'll get to it all in due time. And of course, today, this episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship was brought to you in part by Dragon9 Hide. Thanks so much for your help, my friend. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for, delivering a package that did some creepy things in our intrigue game. Now, let's dive in. So, on planet Earth, in addition to TV series and cute little devils and Disenchanted and things like that, Lucifer is a name that, according to the English language, refers either to the devil or the planet Venus when it appears as the morning star. Though in general, when we think Lucifer, we think the devil himself, the angel that wanted to be stronger than the Christian God and as such was cast out of heaven because, he'd rather rule in hell than serve in the choir of angels. In Pathfinder, Lucifer takes on a weird role because a lot of the story that we've seen of the angel being cast out and stuff takes the form of our Asmodeus. It's a similar story, an evil god ruling hell with several archdevils at his command, plotting his revenge, waiting for the time eventually when he would rule. But Necromancer Games has a different story to tell. According to them, the Prince of Lies, their Prince of Darkness, perhaps the true Prince of Darkness, the adversary, the Prince of Light, or, colloquially, Satan, was the first devil to ever exist. He was cast down from the heavens when he challenged the rulings of the gods of law and good, and after being cast down, Lucifer constructed a plane that he called Hell. In this plane, he built his palace of iron and basalt on the lowest and darkest regions of it, and he divided the realm into 9 districts, appointing his closest allies to rule. These closest allies eventually become known as archdevils, and millennia-ish after Hell is founded, the archdevils decide they can do a better job of ruling Hell than Lucifer can. Namely, it was Asmodeus who coveted the throne of Hell and wanted it himself. Using, diplomacy checks and things, he promised each and every other archdevil that stood with him and challenged Lucifer a larger role in the new Hell. Those that stood against him would be destroyed or cast out of Hell along with Lucifer at the end of the conflict. This time is known as the Great Uprising. Asmodeus managed to sway every single archdevil except for Belial. Belial, Lucifer, and their allies stood fast against the legions of the other archdevils, but in the end, the sheer number of devils that fought against Lucifer overwhelmed his armies, and his allies were forced either to flee hell or face destruction, with the exception of Belial, who, near the end of the war, turned sides, joined Asmodeus, and helped cast Lucifer out. And of course, cast out as he was, Lucifer wanted vengeance, but vengeance requires power, and he was tired, injured, and weakened from the time spent fighting the other archdevils. He needed a place to rest and grow, and thus he created Infernus, a plane of eternal and everlasting fire, one plane, one ruler, created by his own hands, his own blood, and a portion of his very soul. Lucifer is in fact said to be one with the plane. As the gods of law are to the places of good, so is Lucifer to Infernus. Nothing goes unnoticed by him. All movements are seen, all whispers are heard. A plan is not hatched or contrived without Lucifer knowing all about it. When people speak of Infernus, they speak of Lucifer and vice versa. It's thought that no creature stands a chance against Lucifer on Infernus, not even the archdevils, but when the fight comes, Lucifer's going to have to fight the archdevils in hell by sending his agents, of course, to the material plane to corrupt good-aligned beings and convert those paying homage to weaker devils. Lucifer grows in strength, and the strength gives him power. When this power finally reaches its pinnacle, Lucifer will travel to hell and destroy it and every single inhabitant. Lucifer, of course, as I'm sure many of us know, in the Tome of Horrors is CR 39. Yeah. Killing this bad boy nets you 209 million experience. Killing this bad boy makes the math go too high on your character sheets. Even I'm saying that. This guy is very third party, but also definitely the strongest thing you're gonna find, short of a GM getting super mad at you and printing something even stronger. He has a lot of crazy special abilities. We're just gonna hit the big ones. Lucifer has a pair of gaze attacks. He can use one each round as a standard action. Each gaze attack has a range of 30 feet, this save, of course, being charisma based. If for some reason you think you need to buff that any higher. Anywho, any creature meeting Lucifer's gaze must make that save, or have their alignment shift one step towards lawful evil, either on the law chaos axis or the good evil axis. An LE creature, of course, is unaffected by this, and a successful save renders a creature immune to the gaze for 1 day. But also, any creature meeting Lucifer's gaze must succeed at that will save, or be affected as if hit by a double strength bestow curse. So that's a minus 12 to an ability score, which shuts off the 7 intelligence fighter, oops. Or a minus 6 to 2 ability scores, a minus 8 enhancement penalty on attack rolls, saving throws, ability checks, and skill checks, or each turn the target has a 25% chance to act normally, otherwise they can't do anything. Lucifer, of course, chooses the curse when he uses the special attack, which also would be a double dose of whatever you, the GM, can craft. A successful save, of course, makes a creature immune to the gaze for a day, and the curse can be dispelled if you make a caster level check DC 50, or, if you get real lucky. In addition to the huge trident, the bite attack, and the 2 claws that Lucifer carries, Lucifer also has a long, snake-like stinger-tipped tail, and when it stings you, a DC 48 fort save will prevent Lucifer's poison from coursing through your veins. The frequency is once a round for 10 rounds, the effect 2d6 con damage. It's 3 consecutive DC 48 saves to cure it, or, GG hit points. Lucifer carries a couple of unique items as well. First off, the Rod of Infernus. It's a black iron rod which functions as a huge +6 trident that Lucifer wields without penalty. It has 3 special abilities. First off, Annihilation. Once per round, and no more than 5 times a day, the rod can fire a ray to a range of 60 feet. A creature struck by this ray must succeed on a DC 40 fort save or be annihilated instantly. Not even a trace of dust is left behind. No form of mortal magic can restore life to a creature annihilated by this ray, just Lucifer or a deity, that's all. Also, this thing gives you the powers of a Rod of Rulership, which, is busted. And once per round, no more than 3 times a day, the rod can fire a hellish red energy to a range of 60 feet that functions as a Trap the Soul spell, caster level 20th. It's a DC 40 will save to resist the effects, and if you fail, your soul vanishes into the trident. Up to 10 souls can be stored in this way, and a trapped soul may be freed by grasping the rod and speaking a command word, but any non-devil that touches the rod takes 10d8 points of electricity damage per round, no save, and gets 2 negative levels each round that it touches the rod. The fort save to remove a negative level is, you guessed it, DC 40 and can result in actual level loss on a failed save. Break out those giant erasers, kids. We're losing a lot of abilities if we fight this guy. The negative levels cannot be overcome in any way, including restoration spells, while the rod is wielded, and a good aligned creature that touches the rod takes 3d6 points of con drain each round, DC 40 for half. As if that was not enough, Lucifer's armor, Hell's Readout, is a suit of +5 heavy fortification banded mail that has no armor check penalty, no speed penalty, and no chance for arcane spell failure. In addition to, a 75% chance to negate crits and sneaks 3 times per day, Lucifer can cause the fires of hell to spring forth in a 30-foot radius spread around him. The spread remains stationary once called forth. The fire lasts for 3 rounds and deals 10d6 points of fire damage per round, DC, 40 for half. This fire ignores all fire resistance and all fire immunity. Take that, Pit Fiends. Those slain by the fires are completely destroyed, including their gear, and can't be returned to life through anything short of divine intervention. To anyone who is not Lucifer, Hell's readout functions as +1 banded mail, but it bestows 5 negative levels for as long as it is worn, if it's worn by anyone other than Lucifer, unless the wearer defeats Asmodeus and gains the throne of Hell. At that point, it resumes its ordinary function. Anyone wearing the armor is filled with the overwhelming urge to attempt to do that very thing, no matter the cost. Once the armor is removed, the negative levels are done for. Now, here comes that Black Dragon Gaming homebrew. Lucifer, of course, is lawful evil. His domains are evil, law, strength, and war, with the subdomains devil, tyranny, self-realization, and blood. His favored weapon is the trident, and his symbol is his own sigil. To perform Lucifer's deific obedience, preach the word of the Prince of Light. How you go about this is up to you, but your obedience is unfulfilled unless at least one humanoid you speak to thinks seriously, even briefly, about converting. If reaching other people is impossible, you may fulfill your obedience by slaying a creature of a CR equal to your hit dice, praying to Lucifer all the while for the strength needed to both slay the creature before you and the strength to aid your lord in his battles with Hell's legions. In return, you may add your wisdom modifier to bluff checks in addition to your charisma. Exalted boons grant us True Strike 3 times a day, Fog Cloud twice a day, or once a day Hold Person. At level 16 in your hands, the trident ceases to be a fishing tool and transforms into a weapon of war to rival anything ever crafted. Any trident you wield has its damage dice increased as if you were a war priest, using your total hit dice to calculate your war priest level. If you're a war priest, instead increase the damage dice by 1 step, and any trident you wield gains either reach or the returning enchantment. At level 20, your trident becomes a shadow of Satan's Rod of Infernus. A number of times per day equal to your wisdom modifier. As a standard action, you may use the Rod of Infernus' Annihilation, Rod of Rulership, and Trap the Soul powers with a DC of 10 plus half your hit dice plus your wisdom. Evangelist boons grant us Unseen Servant 3 times a day, Scorching Ray twice, or Ray of Exhaustion once. At level 16, you gain a Crimson Serpent as a loyal servant as per the improved familiar feat, using the stats for an imp. The serpent replaces any familiar you may already have, but gains any of that familiar's class abilities, such as a Witch familiar's Store Spells ability, but not a Sylvanshi's Heroic Strength ability, as well as archetypes. Any creature within 30 feet of your familiar must make a will save, DC 10 plus half your hit dice plus your intelligence, or have their alignment shift permanently 1 step towards lawful evil. This effect stacks, and multiple exposures to your serpent may cause creatures to shift several times. Only an atonement spell cast by a cleric whose level is equal to or greater than your own, of either a good deity or Asmodeus, or divine intervention can cause this alignment shift to revert. Creatures affected by this effect are unaware of its origin, but dream every night of storming hell and conquering it in the name of an unseen benefactor. This is a mind-affecting effect, and at level 20 the whispers of your familiar become so powerful that even those with unbreakable minds can no longer resist it, and it infuses your spellcasting power with the venom of Lucifer's own tail. Your serpent can now affect those immune to mind-affecting effects with its abilities, and any spell you cast carries with it Lucifer's tail poison, DC 10 plus half your hit dice plus your intelligence for that 4th save. Sentinel boons grant us Darkness 3 times a day, Protection from evil creatures from hell only twice a day, or Deeper Darkness once a day. At level 16, your armor turns pitch black and feels like a second skin in battle. You take no armor check penalty, spell failure chance, or speed penalty for any armor you wear, and you may add half your charisma modifier, a minimum of 1, as a profane bonus to your armor class while wearing armor. At 20th level, when struck in combat, your armor radiates with the fury of Infernus. Your armor gains the heavy fortification ability and can cause hellfire to spring forth when you are attacked in combat as an immediate action, as Lucifer's armor does, DC 10 plus half your hit dice plus your charisma for that reflex save. That seems pretty good for probably the most powerful stat block I've ever seen in my entire life. Anywho, Lucifer is not within 1 step of chaotic evil, but everybody loves that tyrant archetype, right? So of course, the Prince of Darkness gets his own anti-paladin code. It goes as follows. Hell and its servants shall know no peace while I draw breath. I will violently oppose servants of the archdevils and Asmodeus, particularly Belial, wherever I may find them. The Prince of Light is the ultimate evil, and I will let no slights to his power go unpunished. I will seek to corrupt the good and persuade the evil to my Lord's side wherever I may go, so that my Lord can enact his revenge on hell all the sooner. I will devote my life to perfecting my style of warfare, so that in death my soul will better serve my Lord. And if you look down in the comments below, Mr. Michael Baker will have one-upped me entirely. But that is neither here nor there. Of course, as of Planar Adventures, all the deities pass out boons now whenever the GM wants to, after particularly successful crusades or, like slaying a pit fiend or something. For Lucifer, let's give the player a golden apple. To you, the player who receives it, the apple does nothing more than provide nourishment, but if another creature eats the apple, as a free action, you may immediately target them with a miracle spell, caster level 20th. If the effect you choose to take place might contradict the will of Lucifer, you are immediately slain and reduced to nothingness. Only Lucifer himself may bring you back to life. Other spells and divine intervention have no effect. Now, I want to say, everybody out there in the tabletop RPG world has either brewed, played, or thought about using the devil as we know him on planet Earth, maybe not necessarily Asmodeus, but Satan himself, as a big bad evil guy in their campaigns, because in fact, on planet Earth, many people believe he is in fact the biggest, baddest, evilest of guys. Have I fought Lucifer before? Yes. Was it this Lucifer? No. It was a brewed Lucifer at the end of the game with my Centaur Soha monk that I'm so proud of talking about. After the 4 Horsemen of Death, Lucifer was much, much more challenging. This Lucifer, however, is nuts. Seriously. Drift over to the SRD, Google him, look him up, Lucifer Pathfinder. It's mean. It's incredibly scary, incredibly powerful, and I think it's safe to say that most players die to this. Most players probably die to this hard. That said, a particularly optimized party might, maybe, sometimes be able to hit a AC of 7d4. Yeah, let's target his touch of 38. That seems a little more reasonable. Ugh. This is literally the most optimized of optimized. CR39 for a reason. If you're playing an epic level campaign, this stat block makes a wonderful stat block. And I've had a couple of Diabolists in my day, but I've never really thought about Lucifer in my games as like some kind of entity, because usually I GM in Paizo's universe, so that's Asmodeus. When I first had this requested, when I was thinking about it this weekend on vacation, I had it in my head I was going to brew a thing up, kind of like a reverse Ragothiel. Instead of running away from Dad in hell to join Heaven's armies, it's the reverse. But this stat block definitely is going to stay in the back of my mind as Lucifer or as something else if I need to, stymie a really powerful first edition party or, corrupt them and then throw Asmodeus off his throne. But what do you guys think about this monster stat block that is the true Prince of Darkness? Have you guys used this in a campaign before? Do you think you ever will? And how would you go about beating something as powerful as this? Seriously, I'm genuinely curious. Put it in the comments. I need to hear all about it. I need to learn to defend myself from this super scary thing if I ever turn the corner in a pickup group. And there it is. But anywho, that's all we got for today. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. We're going back to Paizo content for the next episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship, but we're staying a little evil next time with one of the demon lords. If you're into spooky monsters with snakes for feet, stick around for the demon lord Abraxas next Wednesday.